Welcome to Peppershock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Ray Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen with Peppershock Media, also the founder of the Marketing Expedition community powered by Peppershock. And today we have a special treat. We have Jill Lublin in the house. Jill, say hello. Welcome.
Hey everybody. Good to be here.
And Jill, she's an international speaker on topics of radical influence, publicity, networking, kindness, and referrals. She's the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals, and co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, Profit of Kindness, went #1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in the marketplace. She is CEO of strategic consulting firm and has 25 years of experience working with over 100,000 people. Wow, Jill, 100,000 people, plus national and international media. Jill teaches a virtual publicity crash course and consults and speaks all over the world, including right here on this podcast. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers and agents, as well as obtain foreign rights deals. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about too. I want to dig into a little bit more about the book deals because I'm writing a book too. Anyway, welcome to the show, Jill. First of all, I just want to say, wow, what a wonderful background you've had. What's your #1 thing that you are proud of accomplishing the most?
Well, I'll tell you honestly, I think getting 4 books out is quite something. And I know what it takes because I actually help people get major book deals. So, it's a process. It's birthing a baby, and I got 4 of them. Some people have children, and I have books and cats, 4 of each. 4 cats, 4 books. Yeah, gotta love that, right?
Yeah, I can relate to that. It does take a lot of work to birth a book, as you said, and of course cats. Oh, so are you so far as to say is the crazy cat lady yet, or are you're dancing with that title?
Well, I am not the crazy cat lady. I'm just crazy about my cats. That's it.
Good for you. So tell me more. Tell me about your background. Where did you come from? What took you down this path of writing books and becoming #1 in the categories that you did? Let's start. Take me back. What got you this way?
Well, like everyone, probably a bunch of circuitous paths to this one, because I actually went to law school for a year and I really wanted to be an attorney. I thought that would be a great way to solve the problems in the world. And then I got to law school. It's really intense. It's not my style. I'm much more of a creative thinker, which makes me great in publicity, right? But not in law school. So I dropped out, much to my father's chagrin. And I actually started on my path of where I am now. I ended up working in the music business. I started like as a secretary working for someone. I didn't know what to do. What am I going to do after law school? And I took this job actually in entertainment, loved it, and then became the director of promotion and publicity at multiple independent record labels, where I learned all about guerrilla publicity, because you see, we didn't have the big budgets that the big boys did. We had wonderful artists who were highly talented on the labels, all of them that I worked on. And guess what? We had no budget. So I learned how to do guerrilla publicity. That's actually how it was born, is working in places with not a lot of budget and a lot of imagination and doing things that caught attention. So that was super.
So were there any really cool artists that come to mind right off the bat that you got to work with?
Well, I'll tell you, I worked with a particular label, and I loved all the artists. Actually, let me tell you too, the women's music label that I worked with, I actually helped recreate them into a music made by women, heard by everyone kind of label. Yeah. And, we sold out Carnegie Hall. We did a 6-city tour. It sold out Carnegie Hall before we ever got there. And I remember the man at Carnegie Hall said, how did you do this? And, I got them in the Boston Globe and the New York Times beforehand, and that created and stimulated ticket sales. So I've always been really clear about the power of publicity, right? And that was awesome. And we celebrated, the record label was 16 at the time, 16 years old. So we decided to do a Sweet 16. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then the other label I worked with was more like instrumental, what we would call new age label now, but they didn't actually have a name for it at that time. And we actually really created a category. And then I did really fun things, like I got the major rock and roll DJ in New York City to play. It's called Deep Breakfast by Ray Lynch. It's now played in spas. It's that relaxing music you hear when you're hanging out, getting massages and relaxing. And guess what? That music went actually platinum because of some of the things we were doing that were highly creative, like, putting, yes, record stores, putting purple bins just to make sure that you could see what that label was and where to find the record. Yeah, so it stand out. So we just did a lot of really unusual things that didn't take a lot of money, but created attention. And it worked. And that label went platinum. It actually got sold to Windham Hill Records, which has done very well with all of the labels and all of the artists. So it was a wonderful opportunity to work in the music business for like 5 years. I also managed bands and did a lot of different things, and it was really fun until I got burnt out because the music business is kind of burnt out.
Do you play?
I actually played piano for 10 years. As a child into high school. I can hear music. I've played music. I am musical. I love it. So that of course helped when I got to go to all the concerts for fun. That was great.
Yeah, that's the perk, right? And working in the industry. I know my business partner and husband, when we could go to concerts pre-COVID, he would take all of the photography. He'd be the official photographer for all the concerts. So I got to go to some really cool concerts as, tagging along and watching and being a part of that. So I definitely understand the perks of being in that industry for sure. So now fast forward, you've gotten all this experience with publicity and doing guerrilla publicity and all the things that you're doing. Tell me more, like what's the next phase and what happened after the music industry?
So after the music industry, I started my own public relations agency because frankly, that's what I had been doing at 4 independent record labels. And so I didn't rely on just working in the music business because I know that, you have to get a little more diverse.
Right.
Although I know people who stayed in that industry and were very industry specific, but I enjoy the challenge of multiple industries and different genres and working with all kinds of people. And so that gave me fabulous experience running. It was really like a boutique PR agency. I had 7 people working with me. And that was wonderful for many years and loved the people I was working with. Always small business owners. That's always where my heart has been. And doing it in a way that just really worked with people and for people. And that was fun. And then I got tapped on the shoulder to write my first book, Guerrilla Publicity. And that came as a result, everything is relationships. And I I've really seen that throughout my career. And the gentleman, I've been doing some speaking to create business for my PR agency and discovered I really like speaking. And I really enjoyed that, being out in front of people, even though, believe it or not, I actually was quite shy, kind of, have done my, shall I say, work to get over that, and ended up getting picked to write one of the J. Conrad Levinson Guerrilla books, and it's now called Guerrilla Publicity. And that was really the first of a wonderful series of events. At that point, I'll tell you honestly, I closed down the PR agency. I started more traveling and speaking and starting virtual publicity courses, which are really fun because now that enables me to help entrepreneurs in a way that's actually far more affordable. As a PR agency, as an agency owner, it's a whole different ballgame, and you have to do different things to keep overhead going. But all that sort of went away, and I was able to recreate it into serving people, I thought, actually far more effectively and far less expensively. So that was great.
Yeah, that sounds good. So let's go back really quick, because I know there are a lot of people who have to overcome public speaking and being able to share their content. And you know, I love the rush of being able to share what I know, and I can speak about the things I'm really good at, you know, that I have a lot of knowledge about. But when they ask me about me or things that I have no idea, then I'm like, frozen, right? But let me ask you, what are some things that you did to overcome your fear of being able to speak in front of people?
Well, part of it, honestly, is my own work on myself, you know, because I think that as I became more confident, that everything else bloomed. And now, funny enough, I actually help others become more confident. Yeah, it's in their message, it's in their professional life, it's in their work. But here's what I know: when you get confident and clear about your message, everything blooms, right? Because you know, listen, I remember getting my first case of Guerrilla Publicity books, and opening it was like, wow, you know, it was exciting and phenomenal. And then I remember going to my first book signing at Barnes and Nobles and seeing a poster of me like floor to kind of mid-size in the aisle. And I'm like, whoa, it kind of blew my mind because, well, I just never been used to anything like that. And it brings up new things. You know, I always compare myself to, like, you know, when little chicks are born and they peck, 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 peck.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, they're so cute. And then they come through that egg, right?
Yeah.
And boom, they're there kind of falling on their face and all over the cage. Yeah, and it's adorable, but that's kind of how we are, really, you know, with different things in our life. For me, it was having books and speaking and learning and growing unto myself. You know, honestly, I'm certainly better now than I was then. I take a lot of education. I always educate myself. I work with mentors. That has made a huge difference in my life. I think one has to surround themselves with coaches, mentors, people who know what they're talking about in different arenas, like marketing, like you, right? Like publicity, like me. I mean, be with people who know what they're doing. So when I learned about speaking, I learned about presenting, I worked with coaches, and I got support. And that made all the difference. I remember somebody helping me put together my first speech. And it was great. She had that kind of linear mind. I actually have a creative butterfly mind. You know, so it was great to get that kind of help.
Good, good. Let's talk about right now. You mentioned the idea of getting publicity and the idea of what you can do to earn publicity and through troubled times. What's happening right now, and how are you able to still encourage your clients and the people that follow you to earn the publicity?
So first of all, I think honestly now is an interesting, fascinating, and frankly wonderful time to get publicity. Two reasons. Number one, every traditional media source is duplicated now. They're online. So, I mean, I've been in Forbes magazine actually twice, in Inc. magazine, for example, twice. Guess what else I was in? Inc.com, Forbes.com.
Right.
So everything is multiplied, which I think is phenomenal. Secondly, there are lots of issues, as we know, happening. So what I always encourage is find where you fit. For instance, I have a coach. She talks about actually business, and with Black Lives Matter, I have her going out for that, talking about certain aspects and different how it relates to business and Black Lives Matter. So what I'm looking at is how can you fit into what's going on. One of my coaches, she is a relationship coach, actually wrote a self-published book on it. I made her the quarantine Cupid, you know, and she's helping people deal with that. I remember a business consultant, one of my clients who was in my virtual publicity course, she calls me up afterwards. She goes, Jill, I'm having a problem. I'm like, what? She goes, well, I got this kid and he wants to know math. I'm supposed to teach him math. I don't know math. I'm a business consultant. Now, I bet a lot of people can relate to that story.
I absolutely relate to that story. I have a 15 and 12-year-old, and this new math is beyond me.
Well, exactly. It's beyond most people, and most people are not, you know, teachers. And so we did a story about that. How do you be in business and be a parent in COVID times? What do you do? You know, all this kind of stuff. So I think that what's really key is take what you know and then take it to a level of, does it fit in today's news environment? Number one, look for ways for it to fit in today's work environment and things that are going on. And number three, if it doesn't fit, then here's what's really important. Plan your stuff out 3, 6, and 9 months in advance, because that will keep you successful and moving forward.
Very good. Okay, so who are some people that coach you and mentor you along the way? Who has inspired you, Jill?
Mm. Well, I had several speaking coaches, and then James Malinchuk has been in my life for a long time, and he's really wonderful with marketing. I've had some spiritual teachers that have really helped me, believe it or not, kind of come out of my shell and be the best I can be, and that's really important to me. So spiritual mentorship is really important. I've had financial coaches like Laurel Langmeyer, where I've taken self-development and personal transformational programs similar to, oh gosh, all of a sudden I can't remember what it's called. Oh, the Forum, but it's not quite that. So I've just done a lot of that kind of work. And if you looked at my schedule, you'd probably always see something on it at least once a month where I'm doing some kind of personal development or business development work personally and professionally. I think that's really important, and I keep it in my schedule.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good. I like that a lot. Yeah. Reminding yourself to continue to do that for your own benefit just as much as everybody else's, right?
Well, yeah, if I may, so let me present something that really taught me something. And actually one of my mentors, because I love his book, Jack Canfield, he wrote a book called Success Principles, which has guided my life as much as possible. And I know Jack personally, and we're in a transformational leadership program together. And one of the things, I was speaking at an event, and Jack Canfield was speaking there too. Now, this man has sold 80 million books. You know, they sold their company for even more than that. And like, I think I want to listen to someone like that. They know a few things, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, and I remember Jack, when I spoke, actually sat in the back of my room and took notes. And I thought, that's amazing. You know, it made me slightly nervous, but besides that, Jack Canfield sitting in the back of my room taking notes. And, you know, the point is that he is an ever learner, right? And I think that's really what that taught me, is always, no matter what your position in life, be constantly learning, be constantly growing. That's what grows people, right? Not the I know that, but Jack really taught me that, is like continue learning always.
Right, right. And we know leaders are readers. And so, speaking of reading, tell me how we can get a hold of your books and get a hold of you if anybody wants to learn more about you and what all that you have to offer. Tell me more.
Sure. Well, definitely go to jilllublin.com. Lots of L's in there. Hopefully you'll put it in the show notes. And also, if I would love to give you a free publicity webinar where it's Get It Done with me, live and interactive. So to register for that, you can go to jilllublin.com/publicity is a great way to find that. And through my main website, you'll find all my books, and it'd be a pleasure to help you that way. And feel free to reach out to me if there's any support I can give you.
Excellent. Okay, one last question. What has been something that the pandemic has helped you pivot to do differently that you are going to continue to do beyond the, major stages of the pandemic?
I'll tell you, before I was on a plane half the month, speaking, teaching. Now what I've been able to do, and offering my live publicity course, guess what I've done? I've taken everything virtual, and I now do my virtual publicity course twice a month, serving wonderful people, live, interactive. I still keep the course contained, meaning intimate and interactive with me. And you know what? I'm having more fun doing this. I'm able to serve more people a month. And it's got a great format. I worked, diligently on the flow of the course. I made it very live and interactive, as if I'm live with them. And I am live with them, but I meant live in person. And it's just been a blast. I'm going to keep that virtual publicity course going probably actually twice a month consistently. And then you know what else I did? I lowered all my prices. Mm-hmm. And I lowered them for the course, for instance, significantly. I call it my pandemic pricing.
Pricing, yeah.
Yeah. And so now it used to be over $1,000. Now it's $197. I did it in a way that I think really people can say yes to, makes it simple for them to get involved and easy to access. And it has been a blessing for so many. And I'm so grateful to serve in this way that just makes everything easier.
Well, I love that, the idea of pandemic pricing, because same for us, we were going to increase the membership site for the Marketing Expedition members, and we decided to keep it at a low introductory pricing for the pandemic, just so that we could reach as many people and continue to help serve in the best way that we could, and not necessarily raise prices on people, because right now is not the time to raise them. It's the time to, hunker down and get things done effectively, and get an ROI on what you're doing, and publicity is certainly one of those ways to help get your name out there, build your brand and your bottom line, right?
Big time, and literally get you prospects and clients and make you a lot of money. I've been seeing it consistently with the people I've been working with. They're in media sometimes for something very different, but the point is it keeps getting drawn back to your website and your services and your name recognition. So that's really important in today's marketplace.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jill, for joining us on the Marketing Expedition podcast. And I hope that you will consider joining us on the Marketing Expedition members Facebook group and contributing as much as you'd like there as well. And then we also, like you have, we're doing Marketing Expedition webinars once a month. It's every second Thursday. So one of these times I'll have to have you on as a guest speaker on the show, and have just listen to you speak, because I think you've got a lot of wonderful insights and knowledge that people can use and then maybe even hire you for. So thank you so much, Jill. And I have 4 more books to add to my list to read. So I'm going to have to get those from you, and maybe I'll even get some autographed copies, because I love having autographed copies of author books. So we'll have to do that sometime. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jill. And we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at peppershock.com. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.